right now, Val. I think you should be called the Parfessor, because all this young man does is rack up par.
Parfessor. I love that, actually.
You are? Oh, he's the Parfessor. He's the Parfessor. Let's go.
And if you're looking for collaborations, try and reach out.
And we're done reaching out because we're going to rely on the good folks there in Staten Island, bringing you the top 3 courses that you can play because they're public and they're all owned by the state. So let's zoom on in, talk about the history, and learn a little bit with the Parfessor.
Let's take a look at this old historical golf course. We're here at South Shore Country Club. The course was built in 1920s. Built in 1927 by Alfred H. Knoll. The course was originally called Mayflower Country Club. It changed ownership, and that was a private course back then. And it's changed ownership in the 1930s. In 1966, the course was acquired by the state of New York. And in 1999, you saw almost $100,000 go into hole 5, which you're seeing right now, hole 5, 11, 14, and 12, all making huge updates. And we'll find out if this course is on thin ice or not.
And we'll go through the history of the course, and a shout out to Diesel Mike for the recommendation. He recommended a few courses in Staten Island. I would check out his channel. He does all the DIY type stuff, building stuff. Awesome content nonetheless. But here we had to get over to Staten Island and played with some Staten Island locals. One didn't speak a lick of English, but he knew a good shot when he saw one. And the other one
Turned 84. 84? You gonna shoot 84?
Everybody says the same thing when I tell them. They say, you gotta be kidding me.
gotta be kidding me is exactly what I was thinking when I eventually got over to this course, with its ton of history being a private course and a public course, and now it's owned and operated by the city of New York. It's such a unique experience. It's a 4 out of 5 in regards to Google reviews, so it's a legit course with about 225 Google reviews to look at. And I think it's well worth the trip over the Staten Island Bridge. Talk about the clubhouse, every little feature about the course, but more importantly, you know, the overall history. This is a unique spot. The golf course itself borders the land that was the town of Harrisonville, which was then later called Little Africa. Settled settlers in 1830. It was a major destination for former slaves of the Underground Railroad. The area was then later become known as Shady Ground because of its poor quality of soil. Ironic, now they have a golf course there, and shout out, this is where the ball markers are. They're kind of spread out. You got a 150, 100, and 200. Now, it was originally founded as a private country club called Mayflower in 1930. It was then acquired by the city in stages. The first one acquired in 1966 through funds through the New York State Park and Land Acquisition Bond Act of 1960. The second took place in the West Shore Highway System of 1963, and then the third one taking place in 1982. Until 1984, the park managed the course and the restaurant, which is right next to it. And at the time, the American Golf Corporation, a national corporation that operates about 300 recreational facilities, took over the management of the course, and another one just north of the course that we were able to hit in Staten Island as well. And shout out, there's actually another chain course in Staten Island, North Silver Lake Management Company, or whatever you want to call it, is going to be overseeing this course and the other course in Staten Island. All three public courses are going to be managed by the same facility. A ton of history, over 100 years of history here, almost 100 years of golf history here, and it does stay true to its name. It's got a strong 4 out of 5 on Google, so you would think that it's going to be not the best, not the greatest course, but I thought it was a good course to go out. It doesn't feel like you're that close to New York City, but you're close. You're in Staten Island. You are on the island. You're looking at the golf course now. I'll tell you what, navigating through this island, not as bad as I thought. Swinging us over into number 2, we're cutting right through the middle of the island with a rich history of this golf course.
Registered as a historical landmark by New York City, which really one of the city's famous golf courses that you could play for a decent price. Talk about the original layout of this golf course, and does it stay true to its original roots? And we also talk about the changes that the golf course has seen over the 100 years that it's been in play, like a par 3 here that they're consistently throwing money at, and you're gonna have to. It's a very walkable course. Golf course itself was named after the original landowner. It was transferred to the park department in 1958, and then in 1963 the actual clubhouse was a historical landmark, registered. That's actually a historical landmark, and it's a New York City run course. Now the course did have some kind of design changes. The front 9 was designed by David Rees, and it almost has changed the original layout to this day, because the back 9 holes 15 through 18, the ones that we're on right now, are the original golf course. And I would say, one would say that the original landmark here of the back 9. And I'm so glad I got out at least on the back 9. It's like all our other golf vlogs, we'll be playing from those blue tees if available. Now, some parts of the golf course, again, like the tee boxes, have gotten huge updates. But you could see on the back 9, way more demanding. A real historical landmark here at 17. A little bit of Staten Island golf. Whew, the back 9 stays true to its original nature. Some of the same holes still remain here today. Let's give this one a ride. In regards to Google reviews, 4.1 out of 5. So it's a pretty strong golf course here. Now, do they take good care of it? We'll see.
Now, the land originally set on the farm of David Tourette, which was established in 1830. It's where it got its name, La Tourette Golf Course. We're going to go through the history, the redesign that took place in 1935, and then the remodel of 4 holes that took place in 1964. This is a great Staten Island gem as we zoom in to a course not too far from New York City, the Big Apple, where there's some bigger golf outside of it. More importantly, we're just trying to bring you educational golf content as we walk in and try to play public golf throughout the area and use recommendations down below of other targeted areas. We got a list of them, so we thank for those who sent so far. So we're just going to go through, talk about the driving range on the other side, and why we went off the back 9, because those were the only holes available at the time. It's one of the few golf courses that actually has their own Wikipedia page upon doing research after playing. And just quickly going through, the land is part of the Staten Island Greenbelt and has views of the historical Richmond town. Now, the La Tourette house, which dates back to the 1836 time frame, is an historical landmark. We mentioned that earlier in the video, and serves as the full clubhouse. It's considered to be the crown jewel of public golf in the New York City network and is home from the New York City Amateur Championship. For the most part, the course is right in front of you with very few blind spots. It hosts 2 unique putting green practice surfaces, a flat putt and chip area. You can see how the practice green is one large green, which originally was 2 greens that were separated. We figured that out. Change in the golf course took place in 1964, where the course saw minor changes and improvements in maintenance and increased speed of play. In the 70s, you did see some other changes to the first hole, like a bunker being removed in the fairway. The 3rd hole, it was expanded, the back green, and then the 4th hole, a large bunker in the middle of the fairway was removed. And then there was a cart path or bike path that swung through most of the course, and you start to see that on the 11th fairway on the Forest Hill Road. There's that bike path, which was abandoned and neglected for years, and then restored and protected to a new bike path soon later. The course plays pretty strong. It's 6,000 708 yards from those back tees. Now, at the time of filming this, it was the winter, so bear with us. You got fall, you got major factors. This is quote unquote a municipal course, but it is managed, and there's changes that took place right at the time of the filming of this. So it's a very unique time to get out there. Like Silver Lake manages a course just north on Staten Island. They're going to be taking over and managing this course now. So there's going to be a lot of changes, and you can tell just in the clubhouse, there's some things happening. You could see that there's changes happening. I was very lucky and grateful to get out as quickly as I got in there and just sent out for quick golf, and that was one of the best things, to get out and just play a quick 9. We're trying to play all 3 golf courses that are public in Staten Island, and spoiler alert, it was done. So again, just try to provide the educational content. All these courses are built in the 1920s, so there's just a ton of history, and if you can get yourself out there and pay a $20 toll, it might be worth it, just because there's not many people willing to take that step and go to Staten Island and think about playing golf. It's more of a local golf field. A lot of people are New York, if anything, Staten Island, but you're going to get paired up with people, that's for sure. It's one of those type of golf courses. They're going to wait, pair you up, and then send you off, which makes sense because it's a huge city right next to it. Huge recommendation from this golf course, which I neglected until maybe a couple minutes in, unfortunately, was Mike Diesel. He lives out in this area. He recommended playing this course. If I'm going to do Staten Island, you got to play this course. So he's a big YouTuber. I'm going to put the link in the description below. He's doing some amazing things. So shout out to him. Hopefully in the near future we could play some sort of match play, fun golf play. His channel's not big on golf, but you could tell maybe retirement's going to be more golf related. We don't know yet. We're going to hang on tight. Before I give my golf review 1 to 10, just looking at Google, it's got a 4 out of 5, about 4.1 out of 5, with only 210 reviews. So that's not many. You would think that there would be more in Staten Island, New York City, but people aren't going out there and talking about their golf experience. They're just golfing out there, and you got to respect that. Now, I'm going to give this one a little bit below a 9. I think it belongs below a 9. Sure, you got to cut across that street for the back 9 there, but it's the little things like the sign here. All these things might be changed. It's a historical landmark, so you want to stay true to that, and you has those type of factors. You have probably federal money coming in as a result of that. The inside's fair. I think it really is honorable to play this course, and the inside has some historical trophies and just little things to kind of fill it out, but it's a big clubhouse nonetheless. More importantly, we're just going to get out there and try to play more golf in the near future. So if you've played this course, let us know. I think it belongs at a 6.6 on this list, so don't run away if you don't agree with that. Just let us know if you don't agree.
Final hole
This
here.
is an independent golf channel.
Back 9's nice, that's for sure. Good swings here.
That is a frustrating golf course if it's a expectation to be number 1 for you. Now, moving us into our independent list at number 1, we're headed over to a course with a rich history with a burial site that sits on it.
We're here at the famous Silver Lake Golf Course. And take a look at the front 9 of this course. The course was built in 1929 by John H. Cliff. All right, we just hit the first golf course, Silver Lake, and it looks like about a 20-minute drive to the next course. And we're gonna try to play all 3 courses in one day. That's it then. Yeah, done.
I'm really focusing on the history of this course because it's so fascinating and it's ever changing. On Staten Island, there's a gem of a course here, and we're going to go through the front 9 of Silver Lake Golf Course. Originally founded, I guess, in the 1900s as Silver Lake Golf Commissions near the reservoir. The land was converted in 1928. It's almost 100 years old. We got there once when they opened for the first team time. It's outside New York City, so it's going to get busy. A little bit of a frost delay. We're going to talk about how this course was then converted to a golf course, and then in 1994 there was documentation linking the golf course, especially on the 18th hole, to a burial site of primarily immigrants, over 1,000 immigrants have been buried on the 18th hole here. Most of them Irish immigrants from the potato famine. Of various diseases after landing in the United States are buried again in the 18th hole of this golf course. The golf course itself was completed in 1929. Today you can still find affordable rates. Currently on the weekday it's about $21 for a 9-hole rate early morning, and on the weekend it goes a little bit higher. If you wanted to play a full 18, it's $55 plus probably cart, and that's fair. I think that's affordable. Everything kind of stays true. I'm not sure if the clubhouse is still the original clubhouse, but it does look like the original clubhouse. We got out there super early with a group of golfers that were trying to play early too. It's just outside New York City. Can only play weekend golf, so it's unfortunate that we get paired up. We don't get the best footage that way, but more importantly, we're just trying to bring you the historical aspects of the course and the real footage of that golf course. Pro tips for when you get out there, like check Golf Now. I just looked, it's $17 for certain rates. If you get there, I suspect the starter will let you out there early. We'll also talk about how Silver Lake Golf Course is managing the other 2 golf courses that we were able to visit. We're not going to give that away because we're only going to focus on this course. If you were to play from those back tees, which I don't think there's much of a difference, it's 6,305 yards. The greens putt true. It feels like an historical course, rolling greens. I enjoyed it. I really did have a good time. You don't need driver out there. As long as you can hit 200 to 250 yards in any direction, something like this, a par 5, you can easily get on into a little downhill and then goes back up. It's a fun golf course. And it's also in great condition with bent grass green putting surfaces and fairway surfaces as well. The roughs were, you can still get out of it. You weren't in too much trouble. On the putting surfaces, there's no excuses for bad putts. It wasn't horrible putting surfaces at all. The tee boxes were in good shape. They could have been in better shape, but for the price, I think they were extremely affordable and cheaper than some New Jersey golf courses. When you compare the toll just to get over here of $17, you get a free round of golf, one would say. So you run out here and try to play this course hopefully in the near future, because it might be well worth going out and playing. Price is just extremely affordable. It's a walking course. Do not get a cart. You don't need a cart out here. You can play full 18. You can play 36 out here if you wanted to. You can play quick. We were able to fly through this golf course with 4 separate parties involved, and it was an enjoyable round. And shout out to Will and the team that we played with, Mike and Brian. We remembered all those people's names, which is amazing. So, unfortunately we don't sign out waivers on this, but we do provide educational content, and hopefully the future viewers can say, hey, this is a good course that hopefully I can get out and play in the near future. And this is number 9 that brings you right back to the clubhouse. This probably was the nicest hole. All you gotta do is about 250 yards to that fairway. It drops down. You really have a nice shot at it, but it's uphill, so you're not really sure what you're doing. You got the sun in your eyes. So more importantly, where would we put this at a 1 to 10 on our rating? I think it does belong in the 7, really, because of the cemetery factor. This course really is a cemetery. And it took me a second to realize it was recognized on the first tee box with the Irish flags sitting there by the time clock. It's an impressive feat. Hopefully when they take over the other 2 golf courses, this video still ages well and we don't run away with something that is a disaster. Hopefully historical courses like this become landmarks, and more importantly, if there's a lot of immigrants that were buried underneath there, it needs to be recognized as much as it can in a positive light, and that's what this video is trying to do. And we don't want to give it a 6 when maybe it does belong to be in a 7. But I think it's the best golf course in Staten Island. And if you disagree, let us know in the comment section your top list. Again, we only played 9 at each one of the courses, and we all did it in one day, so I'm pretty proud. That's pretty cool.